Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Juicy Cat Bay. We are joined by a special guest today. We have Dr. Kira Eilers of CHRYSALISM with us. So
Woo!
welcome.
Welcome to JKB.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you here with us today. We're going to be talking about CHRYSALISM, just learning a little bit more about your journey in Web3 and how we got here to where you are minting your project in, I think, 4 days. Is that right? It's the 29th of January. Yeah, mint is on February 2nd. So yeah, we're just counting down the days now. We're in the final sprint. And super excited that you made some time to come and chat with us.
Yeah.
Honestly, my absolute pleasure. You're like one of my favorite spaces hosts, so it's really just an honor to be here. And of course, like before Mint, I think it's a great time to speak to like a founder, what's going on in their life and what, like how it is to like, just balance all of these things up to Mint. So I think it's the perfect time.
Yes. So we're excited to dive into the project and also, hear about what it's been like for like the past 2-3 weeks for you, which I'm sure has been busy. But I guess, well, speaking to that, we normally do like a mentee health check where we, just kind of rate on a scale of 1 through 10 how we're doing.
So like 10 crazy or normal?
So 10 is like great, like good. 5 is perfectly average. 1 is like not doing so hot. Have definitely been better.
Yeah, 10 is like best day ever. Like
Yeah.
it's like your wedding or like you
Yeah.
just won the lottery or
Right.
something.
Yeah. 5 is like neither good nor bad. So like 5s, we often have 5s.
Yeah, I'm a 5 right now.
I feel like my days are normally like it can be like absolutely a mixed bag from like 1 to 10 all the time.
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mood swings go so hard. Like some days, like I will have like a 10 at the beginning of the, or like a really good morning or something, and then like at night it's like horrible, and I forget that I was even happy ever.
Ever.
Will I ever be happy again?
Yeah, and like so dramatic. I'm so dramatic with my emotions.
Should we start with the mental health check?
Yes,
Yeah,
mental
let's do
health
that.
check.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do you wanna?
so
Yeah,
right
kick it off
now I am an 8 because I'm here with you guys.
Ooh, I
Yay!
love that.
An hour ago I was like a 4 because there was like a lot of stuff happening in the Discord. A lot of people not been on the allow list yet, opening loads of tickets, so it was like really stressful to like if you collaborate with a lot of projects, you obviously want that everyone that has won a spot is really on the allow list, and sometimes the collaboration managers are really slow and they don't send over the winners, and then we have to like chase them, and it's obviously Sunday, although Web3 obviously does not have a Sunday normally. But so that was definitely like a 4 or 3 an hour ago, but now I'm definitely an 8.
Yay. Okay, glad to hear.
Yeah, we love that. And I totally get it. Sometimes it's really difficult. You just want to control everything at once, right? You're like, I just want to fix every single little thing. And delegating can be really hard. Like
Absolutely.
it's exhausting.
Absolutely. No, even delegating is hard because like you can do it better. So
Yeah.
explaining to the person that you're delegating to takes like even longer than you just doing it. So
Yeah, that's a
not just
difficult
not arrogant, but
balance.
just obviously sometimes as a founder you just know so much more, and like so it's just much easier sometimes.
Right, because you're the one with the vision, and it's so hard to like make everybody see exactly how you see it.
Yeah.
It's your project, and sometimes it's really difficult to like have what you're envisioning be the outcome. Like,
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better.
no, we totally feel you. I'm like, I totally feel you on that. I am kind of like a 7 because I am here with my girls, but I was a 5 before because I had 2 glasses of wine last night, and at my very ripe age of 30, 2 glasses of wine just ruined me for the entire day.
Knocks you out.
So I'm so susceptible to hangovers. It's like beyond. But I've always been. But now, obviously, that I'm 30 as well, it's even worse. But I feel like it was always terrible. Like
Right.
Okay, so you said you're a 7, right?
Yeah, I'm like a 7.
Okay, love a 7. Yeah, I feel like I'm a 7 too. Yeah, just so happy to be like chatting. It's nice, you know, it's a nice way to start your Sunday. Pretty much since Art Basel, I have just been discombobulated from travel or like work stuff. Even like my birthday was in January and that was like disorienting. So I feel like I'm just kind of like getting back in the groove and like getting reorganized, and that just is a lot of work and effort, but like very fulfilling. So I would say like a
By
7.
the way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Star sign hint.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, that is a star sign hint. I'll just say I think I'm like also a 7, but like also have been discombobulated, especially since Basel. I don't know why that's like it was like after Basel I was like, now what?
Yeah.
Everything's a mess.
I love that you always said 7. I love that.
Yeah.
7,
A solid
7.
7.
Oh yes, it's across.
I think that's speaking of astrology, I feel like, or like maybe it's numerology or something, but I feel like
Numerology.
777 is a very lucky number.
Yeah.
That was not planned.
No, we
Yeah.
didn't.
I love no, but we have like you have like Strictly Come Dancing or something in the US as well, right? Like the Dancing with the Stars or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
we
Yes.
have
So
that.
in Germany, there's and he always like he loves giving a 7. I think he just loves giving a 7 because it sounds like Sieben. Sieben. So 7 in German is Sieben, and so he just
Sieben.
always does like Sieben.
I love that. I'm only going to be saying that when
I'm
I have a
obsessed.
7.
7.
Steven.
I'm a Steven today.
Yeah, a strong Steven.
So we have 777. Love.
Does
that.
he do the jazz hands? Is he like Steven?
Yeah, he's just extra. Like he's
We
very
should be
extra.
doing more jazz hands on JKB.
I know.
Really
Severely
He's
lacking.
very, very jazz hands, very, very extra, and like every single show is like the craziest outfits and like the craziest
Oh,
hair.
I
It's
love
just,
that.
he's
I
very
love when people just make like everyday life so exciting.
Such a swag.
It's a party every day.
I think he was. Oh my god, he was also the. We have like a Germany's Next Top Model, and he was also the runway coach teaching. the
Oh
girls
my
how to,
God.
do the catwalk. So he's just
I
very
love that. That's
always a
amazing.
Steven.
Okay, well, should we talk about signs?
Yeah.
What
quick
signs
signs
are
round?
we?
Yeah.
So I'm a Libra.
Let's do a little warm up.
Yeah.
I'm a Libra, so
Ooh. What does that mean?
Right?
Time.
Yeah.
I'm such an
Or-
air sign, so I'm just like all over the place. You think
No.
we might be balanced, but that is such a lie.
No, we love air signs. They are creative. They're,
Good
you know, they're
vibe.
personable. They're engaged. Like, we love air signs.
Yes. Yeah. Bay is like our resident like astrological queen.
Expert.
Like, yes, expert. Like she knows.
Expert
all
slash
the-
queen, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just
Oh,
an
I'll take
enthusiast.
it.
We've got-
Yeah, I'm a Virgo, so I'm like very low key.
No, but like, I mean, I love working with Virgo. It's like the best thing that can ever happen to you. So, like,
Oh.
I have a Virgo on the team. Julia's a Virgo, so
Oh,
It's-
love.
it's the best thing that can ever happen to an air sign in their whole
It
life.
actually is such a fire balance, and like that no pun intended. Like I didn't mean to say fire, but it's just like it's fireworks because it really is a balance. Like
And works
they're
so
like
well.
I feel like air signs have so much energy, and like you need that balance of like an earth sign who's just like more chill and
Rounded.
No, but
Yeah.
Julia's also just like so organized. Everything is just so, it's just perfect. Like, I'm always like, oh my God, we could do this and this and this and this. And she's then like, okay, let me get back with you in a spreadsheet. So
That's
it's
necessary.
amazing. She's amazing.
Love that. Yeah.
We
I'm
stan.
Capricorn. Another Earth sign.
happy. Yes, we love the Cappies.
We do love the Cappies.
Yes. Yeah. Very like I guess work and career oriented, which checks out. So.
Very ambitious, definitely. Very ambitious.
That's
Love
funny.
that.
I'm a Aries, which is like fun and fiery and whatever. But like for me, it's just interesting because actually last year I was born on March 20th on a leap year, which I didn't realize I'm on like the cusp of Aries and Pisces. Apparently, if you're born on a leap year, you're actually an Aries, not a Pisces. So my whole life, I thought I was a Pisces. Like, I didn't know that much about astrology, but I did know, I was like, I'm a Pisces. And then last year, I saw someone tweet, it was literally on Twitter, someone tweeted, like, we had the same birthday. And I was like, oh, sick. And he was like, I'm an Aries. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. You're a Pisces. And he was like, no, I was born on a leap year. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I wasn't born on a leap year. And then I was like, no, I was. And then that day was so disorienting for me because I was like, oh my God, I'm an Aries.
That day.
That is like definitely like a world-blowing moment. Mind-blowing
Yeah,
moment.
I mean, that day especially, and then it took me probably like a week to wrap my head around. But I fully accepted it now.
Yeah,
That would rattle me for ages. Like,
are you like, yeah, like this checks out? Like, were there like inconsistencies where you were like, yeah, I don't really know if I'm like a Pisces?
Yeah, there were like some things where I would be like, oh, I feel like this speaks to me with Pisces. But then like with Aries, at first I fully rejected it. And then I feel like I was like, oh, I kind of feel like I align a lot more with like some of the things, particularly like the personality and just like the fact that it's a fire sign. Because like water never really like quite, I mean, I can barely swim. I know that's not like completely relevant.
I'm sure water signs are good swimmers. Like, I've never
know,
actually
I kind of
investigated
feel like-
that, but I am
I feel
sure
like
that
it's a
there's
thing.
a correlation.
I really want to study on this now. I feel like
Yes.
I would love
we should really
to.
try to pull a data set in like correlation of like
Yeah, like
I am so into that.
Olympians, like Olympic swimmers, like what
Oh
is
my God,
Michael
exactly.
Phelps?
There must be a database for that where we can just like check their birthdays and then see how many are actually like what.
All right, stay tuned. We'll follow up with the analysis.
So this is happening.
Spatter
I'm
plot.
so excited now. I'm suddenly awake.
Yeah, Virgo to do a little analysis.
Yeah.
Yes, part 2.
Yes.
We'll do a follow-up, we promise.
We'll follow up on that. Okay, good.
Okay, so we covered everyone's signs, and I know that astrology ties into chrysalism to some degree. So maybe we should pivot into talking a little bit, just like summarizing the project. I personally don't know much about the project yet, so I'm super excited because astrology is one of my favorite things. And I know that there's so many different layers, and it seems like one of the coolest things ever. So do you want to just like quickly, for people like me, quickly brief us on the project and, you know, the inspiration behind it?
Absolutely. So, so I'm the co-founder of CHRYSALISM, and I founded this with one of my really, really good friends, best friends in London, and she's an astrologer and I'm a scientist. So we're like two powerful females, fire and air, actually, very, very
Ooh,
Amazing.
dangerous.
She's a Sag, so very, very fiery.
Obsessed.
I love a Sag, yeah, it's crazy. Like, so we really wanted to do a project together because comes from the creative industry, and I've been immersed in crypto since like 2019, been a proper Degen, ran through the whole ball, had like an amazing time. I mean, I miss like DeFi summer so much, not gonna lie. It was
Those are the
definitely
days.
a vibe. It was definitely a vibe. I totally completely went down the rabbit hole, and then obviously like slowly started to like immerse into NFTs, and then Kara, so also like Kira Kara, it's very confusing. We answer to both though. Like if someone says Kara to me, I'm fine with that. So we were like just bouncing ideas because, you know, she's very creative, and I was just like, oh my God, you know, there's this new way to like really use digital art and combine it with the blockchain. It's like a whole new world, and like it's really interesting and it's really picking up, and I feel like we should really do something together. So it definitely took a while because she was coming from a very traditional, she went to Art School Central St. Martin in London, which is like a really, really cool fashion design and art college. So she's coming from a very traditional angle, which I love though. I feel like a lot of more people from the traditional artwork should come over into NFTs to really, you know, bring it up to the potential that it can really be. And I would wish that more people would embrace it. So after like, you know, some nights out over cocktails where I was like constantly annoying her with it, I can be very persuasive.
Onboarding at its finest.
So we kind of like started bouncing ideas, and then, you know, she got really into it as well. So for me, it was really important to, you know, get something from my background, which is like science, data. So for me, generative art was always really, really fascinating. how we could like use this bulk of data that surrounds us every single day, and how we could use that to make something truly unique and even be the co-creator of our own art. So I was just like really into like a couple of projects at the time. There was like OG crystals. I mean, art blocks. Every single art block project is like mind blowing, but more on the 2D level. So I was really into like the 3D world. So and yeah, then Cara obviously is an astrology student. She goes to an astrology academy in England, and she's actually studying. So I feel like Bay and Cara space needs to happen.
Yes.
Astrology Academy? Wait, I didn't know that was a
Yeah,
thing.
can we circle back?
Can
Yes, sign
can
us
we
up.
just talk about
Just
that?
try it. Wait, let me. I'm gonna send you her bio. So it's it's definitely a proper college. Like this is like really like a degree in astrology. So she's really studying this. She's like she had to like. I think when we started, there was like lots of exams. So she was just like over all these charts with like planet constellation stuff, and I was just like, oh my god, that's like actually quite scientific. I mean, it is actually quite scientific. So that's why, because I was a bit skeptical in the beginning, obviously, because like coming from a really truly academic kind of straightforward background, sometimes you can really be dismissive of astrology. So that definitely really opened my eyes, especially because it has so much meaning for people. I feel like that's the most important bit. Like, not if it's true or not true, but if it's true for you, and if you can learn something about yourself that actually helps you to deal with this crazy chaotic world around us. So I feel like there's no point in saying it's true or not true. It's true for you or not true for you. So
Absolutely. It's about how it impacts you.
exactly.
And
How you
there,
can find
and
it.
exactly. And there's so much that we can learn about ourselves. We're always students of our own journey, right? So
Exactly. So astrology and science came together, and we started Chrysalism, which comes from the word chrysalis, which means cocoon. And for
ooh.
us, yeah, oh my god, you should definitely Google it. It's like these beautiful like butterfly cocoons. They almost look like robotic gold cases. They're like too perfect. You know, like how some objects in nature are so perfect, where you'd be like,
Yeah.
aubergines. How can aubergines be so smooth and perfect? I mean, how is that even
Yeah.
possible? And how can they be that color? So,
Yeah.
and that was also like the big inspiration for the project, was like how there's so much beauty and generative art in nature. I mean, nature's the best generative artist. So yeah, so we got together and came up with a concept where there was no pre-made traits. So instead of having like, you know, lots of different characteristics that are drawn before and kind of sculpted before and then kind of put together or layered over each other, we wanted to make something that's basically created with your data DNA seed, how I like to call it for my site. So we're going to grab some officially available data from the Ethereum blockchain, like your wallet ID, hash number. It's nothing scary, so it's just, you know, because obviously we don't want to like go too much into your data security. And we'll take that data DNA seed and combine it with your personalized star sign. So in the beginning, we wanted to do it all. We wanted to do sun sign, we wanted to do ascending sign, moon sign. We were like, oh my god, we're going to make this one NFT that reflects all of you.
Yeah.
We did decide for the sun sign for now, but there might be some more data points being added later. But for now, it's your sun sign. So your sun sign will influence how your NFT. So in our case, it's a crystal that contains a creature inside it. And the creature inside it will be, and the crystal tint and the creature inside will be influenced by your star sign, whilst the environment around it will be your element. So in my case, I have like an airy kind of cloudy environment for like my air sign, and then the lava for fire, water for like water for water. Water for water, and then yeah, we have like rocks and like a lot of green grass, like for the earth signs, that really earthy, and lots of flowers, and all of these like even the environment is also generatively grown, so it's not like a background image, and that's like just you can find it in different NFTs. It's also like mathematical systems that like produce flower growth, for example.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I could talk about the algorithms a bit more, but I'm also like
Yeah.
our artist, like our technician. He's not like, he's actually like a technician because what he does is amazing. He works in Houdini, which is a really cool 3D program. I mean, it's just magic because of good name, because it's named after
Yeah.
Houdini.
Very
It literally is
evocative,
magic. And instead of really sculpting these traits, you can really like give instructions to make something rather than making the thing.
That's awesome.
and
Wait,
that
can
is
you
really-
speak more to like the algorithmically generated, like art, because basically it's like the traits are not pre-made. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
So basically, for the crystal, for example, we made like a system how the crystal could be cut. So we basically used different planktonic solids, because that's also tying a bit back into astrology. We use different planktonic solids, so that could be like a triangle. And then we use parameters how the triangle, for example, could be like, in what kind of dimension it could go. We could combine that with a second planktonic solid, which is, for example, a square. So you could make up so many combinations of like a grown crystal that would just never be the same, basically. So instead of making the crystal and then like just making 200 crystals and 200 flowers, it's more like you build an instruction how the flower could look like, and then you'd use the data DNA seed. So it's basically like a long random seed number that will then be passed into the algorithm for like the constraints, how then the actual object will look like.
Oh my god, that's sick.
And out of curiosity, how are you getting information about people's element and their star signs and
So
stuff?
that is when you mint on OpenSea, you will get a pass to our immersive experience, and then you will go to our website where you have like a really nice immersive experience where you can put in your star sign. So we were thinking a lot about it, and we were thinking in the beginning, oh, we maybe should ask for people's birthday, but I think that's something really private, and maybe that's something people would not like to disclose. We were also thinking, and that was a good call, because a lot of people were actually want to buy this for someone else as a present. So they're like, oh my god, my wife is like an Aries, and I really want to get her that. So, or my daughter, or my son, or like, so I feel like I feel like that's also like astrology and science are so personal, emotional to you. So we're really hoping that you could form an emotional connection and really feel like this is reflecting you in some way. So we decided that you can decide what star sign you would like to infuse your NFT with.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. Like, I think that's really interesting. So, like, you could view this NFT and, like, the crystal and the insect and everything in it as, like, either, like, a companion to you or, like, a reflection of, like, yourself. So, like, you could give it a sign that's, like, your sign, or maybe, like, if you're, like, I'm fire and I want, like, a fiery combo with air, like, make it an air sign
That's
instead.
such a good point. Like, Cara always talks about this, how, like, obviously our sun sign might not even reflect what we truly are. I mean, there's so much more, right? It's just like the surface. So she was also like, maybe some people feel like there's so much fire and they really need some, another sign to ground them, like earth or something. So maybe they really want to buy like an earth sign for themselves, because that feels kind of right at the moment.
Yeah.
So I feel like that gives you a bit more of like, also, what if you want to buy more, for example, if you want to buy two or three or something, you could like collect one of all, or, like something like that to really, have them all. But we also, obviously being a generative project, we know that we appeal to different audiences. So we obviously wanted to appeal like to more like the fine art community and the art collectors, but we also wanted to appeal to degens because they're just kind of fun as well.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we obviously thought about rarity a lot. Like we thought about so much. Like obviously there's so many things that you can do wrong or right, and like it was definitely a long process to really get it down, and where we felt like, okay, this is kind of like a really good middle ground for everyone. So we introduced, when you go to our immersive experience, there's a 2% chance that you get neither of the 12 classic star signs or the 4 elements, but you get rather like a secret 13th crypto star sign and a 5th element, which is ether, and it looks really, really cool. Like really like, it has like characteristics of like all the elements, but also more, and like the crystal has a bioluminescent bug inside, and it looks like really mysterious.
Oh my God.
So just to give a bit of like, this kind of like collecting vibe that the degen community also really cherishes, because personalization is great, but you also need to think about like, is this also collectible, is this tradable? I mean, there's different decisions that you have to make when you plan a project. So we decided to introduce that as kind of like a little, making it a bit more exciting.
Yeah, I love that.
So the rarities aren't predetermined, right?
No.
They come after mint. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Except for the 2%. So we did code that as an override mechanism, basically. So even if you put in your sign, you can be lucky, and just like the algorithm just be like, no, you got lucky and you get the 1. So
Oh, wow.
I love that.
Got it. So it's not only generative, but it's also dynamic, right? Because it's so you would mint the like the original, I guess, insect or creature that is minted. Also goes through this evolution process, right, in phase 2. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so absolutely. We were like a bit like, I feel like there's a lot that we can do with NFTs, and like I was really inspired by at the time OG crystals that where you minted a crystal seed, and every single time you would trade it, that would basically grow. Or Vanillias that came out that really is not a static image, but rather is actually tied to an outside data feed via an oracle, and actually reflects the trading of a coin. I mean, it's brilliant. I'm gonna get Vanilla. So cute. I just want to watch my Ethereum wizard do great all the time. So we were really inspired by projects like this. We wanted to do something that is not just necessarily finished and forever, just like one PFP, but can really like evolve and be dynamic. That also really ties into obviously astrology and metamorphosis, which I feel insects also, like butterflies and like things that go through like cocooning phases of change. This process of forming a cocoon in insects is really interesting, because they break down all their parts and build something completely new. So they lose their own form, but use the material they have to build something. It's just really fascinating, I think, like from, like a spiritual aspect. So, yes, you can decide to break your crystal and open it basically, and see what will evolve out of it. However, you will lose your NFTs. You will lose the crystal NFT. So it's a sacrifice that you have to make. And
Okay.
I've heard a couple that don't want to do that. They're like, I really like the crystal, and like I don't want to break it. This was also a bit like in a gamified way. We're going to see how many will do it, how many will not do it. Will like the price rise for the ones that are not hatched? What will happen? Will it become a deflationary object or not? Because it will be in the same collection, right? It's a dynamic collection. It's not like we are like gonna drop a new supply or something. It will be the same supply, which was really important for us, because I don't want people to, especially if you're a new project, just like raising your supply is not a smart move. Like it's good to stay with your supply number. So once you broke the crystal, in this hatching event, that basically will be a period of time. So we will tie that to occurrences that happen in nature. I mean, spring will happen soon, so and we have moon phases that we're looking at the moment. So we want to have like a really defined window where you can hatch your crystal. We will publish that really soon. It will not be too long after minting and after creating a crystal, because we already finished that system as well. And yeah, you will be able to hatch a winged creature that is also fully generative. And yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I love insects. On the other hand, it's really funny because like we're this female founded project that does like a bug project.
Yeah. No, I love that though.
Wait, I love that so much because I love insects too.
Yeah. No,
Like I thought I was the only weird female who likes ants.
Oh my god, how cool ants! I mean,
They're so cool.
they're
I'm so
so
happy
cool.
that I find
Don't
them.
get me started.
Oh
They're
my
so
god,
fascinating.
you know that they're also the most abundant insect on this planet, like basically, and insects are already the most abundant species, so it's like they're literally ruling the world secretly.
Wow.
I love that for them.
I love that too for them. Also, A Bug's Life. Do you like A Bug's Life, the movie?
I love A Bug's
Yes.
Life. That
Absolutely.
movie slays. So good.
So cute.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started. It's like literally the cutest thing ever. No, I really like insects. I mean, also from like a scientist background, like I work with bacteria as like a scientist, which are also kind of super bugs. So
Yeah.
I went from molecular bugs to bigger animal bugs. I mean, they're just really fascinating because they have like this explosion of color and texture on like this tiny scale. I mean, there's just really cool photography of like insects when you do macro photography, and you see all these little hairs, all these like little structures. They're like so cool. So
Yeah.
I mean,
so cool. I know the art for them, like that you guys have like teased is so sick. Ooh.
I like.
Is this alpha?
Is that an insect book? Oh my god.
So
I love
that.
a
Yeah.
handbook of interesting insects.
Oh my God, I love it.
That's
Wait,
like
yeah,
the best coffee table book.
yeah, I know. That's such
really
a it's such a flex.
No, I mean, it's just like nice to sometimes when you like want to read something really quick that is not like, you know, because it's like literally one page, one insect, like no continuous story. So
That's
it's kind of nice
amazing.
sometimes to just like look at it and just read like a fun fact about like a really weird bug that lives in Madagascar and does like crazy shit.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, the bugs get so weird. Like I was actually curious about like when you guys were making the, you know, like the generative art for it, like how much should you like toe the line of like reality and fantasy? Like how much of it is like actually based on like real bugs that exist because they get really wild, and how much of it was like you kind of like made up your own kind
I
of.
mean, the real bugs are already so weird that you might not even need to change anything.
Exactly, yeah.
No, we did take inspiration for the systems, especially for like, you know, we have the butterflies and the moth, you know, which my favorite is the moths, honestly, because they're just so cute and hairy and they're just so cute. No, we did take definitely inspiration, but then we kind of want to push it to like the next level and see what kind of these data-driven algorithms would make with the inspiration from the real world. And we still, so the crystal algorithms are completely finished, while the bugs that will hatch will sometimes still like, I could like work on them forever because I'm like always like, oh my God, maybe we could have like a pearl shader, like you know, an insect that's like a pearl, like, so we're still introducing a couple of special shaders to make. So there's even more varieties in the insects, which was really important because I think it's cool if you have like maybe a not so rare crystal and then you hatch it and you can get like a super rare golden butterfly that is like, you know, ruling.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Going through
Manifesting for myself.
going through metamorphosis, and you know, you're like this uninteresting crystal first, but then you like, you know, this beautiful butterfly.
I love
know, it's
that.
going to be so hard. Like I feel like I'm definitely going to have to mint like a few. No, I feel like I'm just going to be obsessed with like the environment and like the crystal, and so like having multiple in order to have one to kind of go through the whole process, I feel like is going to be very necessary. Because
Yeah.
otherwise like
I feel the
I mean,
same way.
you guys definitely achieved your goal of like wanting it to be like a fine art piece that like can be displayed in someone's home or like even a museum. Like it's really visually stunning. But then it also has, like you said, like this really cool like game theory element of like, oh, like what are like the degen advantages
What am I gonna
of
do?
evolving?
I don't know what
Yeah,
we have like a lot of ideas at the moment, and like we are already in talks with a lot of partners, which I don't want to obviously like overpromise, but you know, we I think we would really like to also connect to like museums and kind of like maybe even science, natural history museum, kind of like that kind of side, to really get a bit more of the audience from that side as well as the fine art world, and obviously the crypto world. So we definitely have really big plans for after Mint. We're definitely trying to not overpromise though. I feel like it's hard though because I kind of want to spill everything.
yeah.
I know. I
But
know.
I'm such an oversharer, so like sometimes I'm like, Kira, why did you even ever say that?
Oh, there's so much to be excited about.
I'm just so excited, and I kind of want to tell everything that's going on, but then obviously you have to be a bit careful because it can have legal implications if you say something and then you cannot be held to it. So
Totally
it's
get
always
it.
like a fine line. Also, you know, we have this announcement culture in crypto, so that's really toxic sometimes, and I wish it
Yes. Could be controversial.
Yeah.
Could I quickly backtrack really fast? Because before you had mentioned something about moon phases, since there's going to be this dynamic nature and you have a couple of different things planned, is that something that you plan on continuing just throughout the time span of the project? Do you plan on like having this developing lore, I guess, for the dynamic phases of?
Yeah, we're really looking into that. I mean, it is really like a whole world that you could imagine, right? I mean, insects are like pollinators and they pollinate flowers, generative flowers. So, and we have a lot of ideas, and we really want to see and work together with the community and see how they really take to this concept after the hatching and everything, to see what we can really build in the future. So no, I definitely think there's a lot of lore and world building, and especially with the astrology, because, you know, astrology is rooted in natural, in the constellations of the stars. And, you know, when we are in the crypto world, how is that going to look? Like, are we going to look to the stars as well? Like, what kind of are our stars there? Like, what can we build? yeah, I mean that this is, but the in real life aspect is also there. So for my co-founder Cara, it is really, really important to give back. So we are going to give 5% of our primary sales to nature biodiversity courses and climate change. We will publish the charities where we're constantly talking to them. Right after the mint, we will disclose them, and we're really excited to give that back. But I think also in the future we are really keen to work towards that, like to give awareness how insect species are disappearing rapidly because I mean they're so abundant. Like I feel like there's over 100 million species insect species on this planet. They outweigh us in biomass by like many folds. So and they're so important for so many ecosystems. So we definitely want to like also raise awareness and give back more. So we're thinking of ways how we can raise more and do more charity work. So especially for my co-founder, like if it would be up to her, it would be much more than 5%. But we also have to obviously look at the roadmap fulfillment and like make a viable and sustainable project. But give back at the same time is definitely really, really important for us.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
In the past, like we've seen a lot of projects not reinvest in the ecosystem. It's kind of just like, oh, okay, like
thank you,
thank you for my money. Like I'm out. So yeah, I'd love to hear how you guys are giving back.
No, I feel like they don't understand how much
growing
it can be to work together in your community, and if your community is thriving, you're also thriving. I mean, you can even make more. I don't understand why people not see it.
Yeah, it's a very like limited perspective for sure. And I would love to hear a little bit about like you kind of spoke of the roadmap. Like how has the project vision evolved over time?
We started planning in December 2021 and then really kicked the project off early 2022. So it was a really different time back then. We were still in the bull market, especially January 2022 was really crazy. Azuki came out. It was like a whole new meta. Everyone was over the moon. Everyone was thinking we're gonna just go to the moon forever. And obviously back then a lot of the meta was like gaming, like building your own game, building your own metaverse. A lot of promises were made, which were never held. Where are all our metaverses? Where are all our games?
Where are they?
Where are they? So we were always trying. I mean, obviously it's hard to not get influenced. Like sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I came back into the team and were like, what are we gonna do a game? And they were like, "Girl, you know how expensive it is to build a game?" Like, and that's what many people forget. Like, a game is like a real, like 3D immersive, like proper game is so expensive. Like, there's no way you can raise, like, even if you raise 1 million from your primary sale, it's not enough to build a game. Like,
right.
It's like so expensive. So no, I feel like it was definitely hard to not get influenced because, and I'm glad we didn't, because this metas go so quickly as well again, right? Like they come up, they shoot up, everyone's copycatting them, and then they disappear again. So I think we were just, which was a good thing, we were really focused on just building in like the background, so which was good because we have not promised anything officially. We were just kind of building, focusing on our project, focusing on our product, and we were always wanted to do something that is unique and not something that that pleases the market at the moment. Like something that we think, obviously we wanted it to resonate with people. That was obviously like, of course, but not to like go with like the trends and just like to please everyone. Like we wanted to do something a bit different. And yes, we're not a PFP project, and we were like a bit in between PFP and fine art, but I feel like sometimes you just have to go with your gut as a founder and just do something that is unique and do you. And it's a risk, but it might pay off. So
I think especially now, like you're seeing that is definitely going to pay off because like you are kind of in a position where you can set the trends and define the tone, especially now that things have quieted down so much. I think, having kind of kept your cards so pressed and done your own thing, I think is really paying off. So
no, absolutely. Thank you for saying that, Kat. No, I think so too. And I think it is sometimes a bit hard because it's a very deep project with a lot of depth and a lot of layers. So I feel like sometimes what is definitely a challenge for us is like to communicate it correctly so people really understand it, because sometimes the attention span is really short in this space, and people just don't really want to give the capacity of their attention to like really understanding something. So sometimes that's a bit hard because then people just come in and be like, oh, I don't get this is too complicated, this is stupid, like and obviously everybody's hard to sometimes, like for me especially, because like I take feedback extremely personal. Like I'm definitely still learning to be like a bit more like, I don't care what other people think. I'm not completely there yet. I'm like, sometimes I'm like this one person of like, you know, 1,000 comes and says something really hurtful. I'm just like, oh my God, maybe they're lying. Maybe it's like,
Yeah.
maybe everything. But so sometimes that's really hard to take as like, because you're a person as well. And you're like in contact with the community quite a lot because you're quite public facing in this space. I feel like in normal startup culture, no one has that much access to the CEO of a project. Like,
Definitely not. Yeah.
True.
So interesting about NFTs. Like we were actually talking about this yesterday, like the three of us, how like being a part or like a holder of like an NFT project it's not like a lot of people like to conflate it to like being an investor or like having shares in a company, but it's more so just like you have a front seat as to how like this company is getting built in a sense. But you don't necessarily have input, but you have a direct line to like the founders in a lot of ways, like via like Twitter or Discord. Yeah, NFTs have created this super interesting dynamic where you can just be involved in like an early stage startup kind of and have this weird like parasocial relationship with the team. I'm sure it's exhausting. Like I'm sure as much as it's like fulfilling and exciting, and I'm sure it's also a lot of pressure and hard.
Definitely, not gonna lie. Like, I mean, I found really interesting. Like, I think when we were on the space the other day together, how Deep Object has like these open team meetings where you could literally like even join team meetings, which is like,
wow, yeah,
wow.
My co-founder is not gonna like that. I feel like it's a really cool idea, and like I think it's a really cool concept, and I feel like that could be something that we could also think about it. But it's also obviously makes the structure of a meeting, a constructive meeting, also quite hard. So I feel like there's a difficult balance to strike, definitely. But it's a really cool idea. Like and it is really cool. And like I feel like I really enjoy this as well. Like especially when there's positive feedback or like new ideas that are like formulated in like a constructive way and not in like a mean fuddy way.
Yeah.
I feel like if they just say it like really nice and be like, oh, like have you ever thought about like maybe doing, instead of just being like, this is shit, this everything is shit, this is like just, this is a rug, like you're just, this is a Fiverr artist and you're just pretending, and like I'm like, yeah, it's not.
That's actually wild to me that anyone could ever look at the art that you guys are creating and say that.
I know, I was thinking that too, because I feel like one could say like, oh, there's like more complexities than like your average like NFT or PFP project, but also at the same time, like I feel that way sometimes when I see a project that has like added mechanisms or complications that I feel as if they didn't even spend that much time thinking about, like, but it's like really difficult to understand. What I really like about Chrysalism is like when you dig deeper and like try to understand it, it's like you can see all the ways in which like you and the team have like really thought it through, and it's just so carefully put together that it's like a rewarding experience trying to like learn about the details of the project, which I think is really nice, because I think sometimes you try to dig deeper into a project and you're left like feeling more frustrated and dumb, whereas this is more like oh, like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
No, but thank you so much for saying that, Juicy. And I think this is what takes time, unfortunately. I think that's what lots of founders don't take their time. They want to rush because they're chasing like a speedboat trend that's like going by. And I feel like sometimes you just have to really try to chase the speedboat and just be like, okay, I'm just going to chill here and wait for the big wave to come, like a really patient person.
Yeah.
And that is really hard though, because you know you see all these things happening in the space so quickly, and you kind of want to be out there as well, but sometimes things take time. And I feel like that's definitely what my co-founders have influenced me a lot as well, because I'm sometimes I want it to happen now immediately because I get so excited. But unfortunately, good things, like really good things, take a lot of time and a lot of thought, and it's hard to wait, but it's definitely paying off. Like I just am just imagining of like if we would just pushed it out and really forced it and launched like in November or earlier, it would have been really, really, really bad for the project. So
yeah, also the timing of everything that like went down in November, like with FTX and everything, I feel like it would have been a little rough. But yeah, I remember meeting you for the first time at NFT NYC, and I actually I don't even know how like our conversation started. But
what were you wearing? I think we were talking about what you were wearing.
Oh yeah.
What were you wearing? And were you getting restored? No.
I feel like I was wearing like a blazer and like cowboy boots.
You were wearing Paloma wool.
Oh yeah, of
Oh,
course. As all great
Strong.
friendships
Paloma wool
do, right?
unites us all.
So I was like, oh my
Just
God, I love
kicking it
it.
off.
And then,
Yeah.
we were just getting like,
Yeah, well, I remember you like pulled out your phone. You were like, I'm working on a project tonight. Can I show it to you? And I was like, like this is the most stunning art I've ever seen. It was so
by the way,
pretty.
there were some drinks involved.
It was so, I was just like, wow, like this is actually so unique. And it's so crazy because you're right, like you had the concepts and like the art ready to go all the way back in June. We're recording this in January of the following year, I guess, technically. And like that could make it really confusing or add clarity. I'm not sure. But yeah, it is like I don't know, just the fact that you had the patience to just continue working on it, and now you have this amazing partnership with OpenSea. It seems like the vision is even more clear.
Yeah,
It just seems like
definitely.
you have this amazing community around you now who's so excited and ready and just like rooting for you. And I think yeah, that just like really demonstrates how just taking your time and being patient pays off. But I am curious, like, were there moments, and I feel like you kind of already alluded to this, like whether it was like, you know, the NFT bull market kind of winding down or things imploding like in this fall winter where you were like, oh no, like we missed the boat, or should we just pull the trigger now, or what, were you always just kind of like aiming for this date in February, like how?
No, this was not, we were definitely aiming for earlier, but things just took longer and it just didn't feel right to launch. And we were sometimes, yes, sometimes we were scared. And I remember in December where we were just like, should we just pull the trigger and just like get it out? And we decided against it. And there was actually a time where we were all, so I'm working full time on CHRYSALISM at the moment, after finishing my PhD. So there was a moment where we all thought, okay, we have to like, put it back on the back burner a bit and like really think about our future and ourselves, because, if you have like founders running out of being able to work on the project, that's also really bad. But no, we really decided to be like, no, you know what, we're gonna give it our all, and we're gonna try to find the right time to launch, and not rush it. Although it was so tempting because everything felt so broken and you didn't know if it would go worse, right? Everyone was getting so bearish, and like, when it really gets like, oh, back to the, oh my God, crypto was just like, it was just a floof, and like
This was a
actually
mistake.
it was all a mistake. It's got
It's just a phase.
It was
Yeah.
just a phase, and it's never a phase, honey. It's never a phase.
I feel like as far as timing goes, like the stars aligned. And like no pun intended, because like that kind of goes with the project. But like if you think about it, right now there's this new like open edition meta, and I feel like the space is shifting from like degenerate like mints, and then there was this like dead bull market, I mean dead bear market, where like nothing was happening. And now I feel like there's more in the space where artists are being rewarded. And since you guys have this project that's this like innovative art project, it kind of fits into the narrative right now. So it's like if you guys did the mint when you originally planned to, it probably like wouldn't have captured as much of an audience as it will now.
Absolutely. And right now we also have this like OpenSea drop meta, which is also obviously not in our favor. So OpenSea drops are really doing
Yes.
really well at the moment. They give people the safety of minting, without being like scammed. So, and yeah, I mean, the last drops were going so well. They all sold out in like under 5 minutes, which,
Wow.
I mean, this is a dimension that I've never even considered. I really considered, I mean, even selling out at some point was like, oh, I hope it's really going to happen. Because the market was really bleak. Everyone was losing a bit of hope. Everything was winding down a little bit. So these days were really hard as founders, especially, because we have like really put tears, blood, and like sweat into this. A lot of tears as well. I mean, we're a female founding team. So.
Sure.
The emotions are out there.
But I'm just so, I mean, I feel like being like in a really heavily female represented like team is just so great. Like I love it. And I mean there was times where I felt really deflated and like frustrated because I'm not a crypto bro, and I did at many times I did feel, oh, if I would just be a crypto bro, this would be much easier.
Facts.
The bro club, facts, fucking facts. So they have their bro clubs, but no, I'm so happy that we're like here as well with like four amazing women, just making our way in this crazy male-dominated degenerate space.
And I feel like you're really going to make an impact and like shift the space. Like I do think that like we need more diversity, more just varied perspectives in what the output is of this space is what's going to just make it like have a narrative shift and just make it more appealing to other people.
No, absolutely.
To come in.
I was just gonna say, like, I love that you said that, Kat, because I feel like even like aesthetically, like CHRYSALISM, I feel like is just like aesthetically, and I think even the idea behind it is just so different and like refreshing. And I'm really glad that you guys stuck to your guns with like what like not following the trends, because I think that what's really interesting is that like I think with a lot of the like blockchain, NFT projects and ideas, they've all been really leaning into this idea that it's new tech and it's like modern and and so it's like veering away from like the natural world but into this like digital aesthetic, whatever that is, and
like post-apocalyptic world.
And oftentimes it's not cute and it's like very like sterile, it feels like, and I love that you guys have like really leaned into like pulling in the natural world and like informing the project. And like, I mean, obviously it's like literally insects and stuff, but I just feel like the methodology in which you guys have done it is so refreshing, and like it feels more like humanizing than a lot of other stuff I've seen.
I mean, I think it's like it's also really important that women founders can do something that they feel like they want to do, and they don't necessarily have to do women PFP projects. Like I think a lot of people were just like thinking, okay, we need to show the world that we're just women, like so we're just gonna do 10K all women. So, and I feel like there was definitely a matter after World of Women, and like there was like definitely like I feel like summer last year there was so many like projects that all had like the same art and the same mission of like bringing more females into the NFT space, but in fact they just like all sold to each other for like a couple of months. So I feel like it should also be like that women can do whatever the fuck they want. Like we don't need to do like something that's pretty, we don't need to do something that's cute, we can do something weird and like it's still okay. Like we just don't need to like, and we also don't need to over advertise ourselves that I mean, I obviously like to say that and I always say it, but it's not my main matter, my main narrative that I'm a female. I mean, I'm obviously, how to say that? I always want to support females.
We get
but
it.
I don't want it to be like the only thing why people would buy my project.
Yeah. I feel that
we
so
have
hard.
the same MO here. Like, I mean, I think it's so great that you kind of touched on like female projects that are explicitly just PFP cartoons of women, especially in a space that is kind of dominated by men. I think to kind of cluster yourself with other women, you're not really giving yourselves the same opportunity to network. I do think like in Web3 and crypto, like your network is extremely valuable to the opportunities that you have. And so I think, not that there aren't women in the space with incredible networks, like that obviously exists, but if you enter the space and only seek out other women and that's it, then sometimes you're really closing yourself off to, it's just not constructive. So yeah, really love that.
No, we do have to touch on that. I think that's really important, and I would encourage every like female that like every woman that wants to become like a founder, just like to go with your guts and do what you want to do. Like really do something unique. It doesn't need to necessarily be really like femme or feminine. It can be whatever you want it to be. And we are like a lot of women are really supportive, and we have networks with really great men as well. So I feel like when we all stick together and like take over the whole space a bit more, we can really make it just a better place.
Yes.
And not gonna lie, I'm also getting a lot of positive feedback of like because my so I'm a lot in the Discord as a founder. I have two female mods as well. No, three female mods. So just like having not only like males in there, like the vibe of the Discord is just like so much better, and like so many people are like, oh my god, it actually feels like adults in here. Like, yeah, duh.
I mean, I feel like we've done a lot of like the covered CHRYSALISM as a project. Love that. We also have like dumb questions that are tangentially related to chrysalism. Like we have one, we were curious if you were a bug, which would you be? That's for all of us. We can all answer that.
Oh yeah, let's do that. I would be the rosy maple moth. It's like the cutest little moth. Google it right now. It's like the cutest.
Yeah, I'm
little
looking that up.
Okay.
Rosy maple moth.
moth.
Okay. Oh my god.
It's so pretty.
It's the cutest thing.
I'm obsessed with this moth. Wait, how is this real? You know how,
How
yeah,
is it
like
so
some,
tiny as well.
oh my god, the colors are beautiful.
Wait, I'm gonna drop it here.
Wait, I'm obsessed. Where are these found, and
Yeah.
where can I surround myself with these?
Unfortunately, I think they're like in I don't want to say North America. Oh my
Woo! That's where we are.
Let's get
I
them.
know. I just forgot that you're not like actually on in the Europe continent.
I'm gonna go outside.
Their range, Nova Scotia west through Quebec. Okay. Wait, I love these. The little arms.
They're just so cute. I'm literally like, I love moths so much. Like, there's also like so cute like poodle moths, and like they're just like so cute. Moths are just like the cutest thing.
Oh my god, I need to look more into moths. I didn't know that they had such range.
They actually have like quite a range. There's also like the Luna moth, which is really great.
Ooh.
Oh.
Wait, I just googled moon moth because I was like,
Yeah.
okay, wait. I wanted to come up with a species too. I didn't want to just be like butterfly. I was like, I'll come up with a unique one too, and that one is so pretty as well.
It's the green
like
one, right, with the
green.
long extensions,
Yeah.
right? They're really good.
Gorge.
I like the
I'll
green.
take that one.
Those
It's
are
a great
pretty
one.
with
It's
the
a great
tail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great pick.
Yeah, that's a solid one.
I think when they fly, like sometimes these things like also do like a cool movement, so these is a really good one.
Ooh, yeah, I'm not very well versed in my bugs. I'll pick like an arachnid, but I've been on TikTok. Somehow I've gotten onto jumping spider talk. Like,
Do you get into the algorithm of jumping spiders?
yeah,
Watch
like they've
one video,
shown
you're
me
in.
so many, like, because people have them as like pets and stuff, and they're actually like these cute little fuzzy spiders, and they like jump, and they have these little eyes, and they're actually like adorable. And, like, they have such a personality.
I got into this algorithm on Instagram as well because I watched one of those videos and now I get them all the time. And
They were like, oh, you want one?
I know, and they're like they build like this enclosed, like enclosed. How's that?
Yeah, like the little enclosure, like little habitat.
In little enclosures, yes, and like it's like a whole thing, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wait, where
Yeah,
do you like buy them at the store, or like do you people capture?
order them.
I think people like sell them as pets basically,
Oh my
which
God.
is like, I mean,
They're
I
like,
now
you
want
know,
one.
we see you. Yeah, you're gonna be like, check it out.
They're
like,
so cute. Yeah, I'm like,
They do like so much art and crafts for like the little enclosures and like
Yeah.
walnuts and things, and like because they're so tiny.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they go missing as well.
yeah, that would be terrifying because I would both be like, because like they jump, so I'd be startled. Like even if I had one as a pet, I would like, if I saw it outside of its habitat and it's like jumping all over the place, I would definitely like instinctually want to kill it.
No, I feel like they're just like really cute.
Yeah.
That's good, very, very, very good choice.
Yeah.
Although 8 legs and 6, but we will accept the entry.
Yeah, right. It's not technically, I think, like an insect, right? But it's
We'll
fine.
accept it because their just cuteness level is definitely 1,000. So
Yeah. Faye, do you have a bug of choice?
This is like a loaded question for me. 'Cause, like, I originally was gonna say an ant because like I love ants.
That's a good one.
Like, but and it's mainly because they're really strong and like mighty and small, and I love that.
Yeah.
I identify as that, but at the same time, like people kill them a lot, and like that's really sad. But like it's a thing. So I was thinking like probably a spider because people sometimes are too afraid to kill them, and also spiders like create cool webs and stuff, and they can climb. So I don't know. It's really tough. This is tough for me.
I never kill spiders. I mean, I think
No, same.
they're so good to have.
They're too
around.
important.
No, they
Yeah.
are. Like they like I mean, when you have one spider in your room, like they get rid of all the mosquitoes and stuff.
Yeah, like they can
yeah,
hang.
Any bug that is critical to the ecosystem and like they're helping move the food chain forward, like that
the only one I'm a bit on
is
the
very
fence.
important to me.
I've been to like really interesting talk at Imperial College in London with a research group that like did like genetic experiments with mosquitoes, basically showing a concept how you could basically kill them completely off. Not the whole mosquitoes as a race, but like a specific species that transmits like malaria, for example, because malaria is obviously a huge problem in communities where you have no access to drugs. So and they get more drug resistant as well. So I feel like it's really controversial for me because like I feel like killing off a whole species is really terrible.
Right.
And it would give so much benefits because like they also transmit dengue. Zika, I mean, there's just so many. No, Zika virus is actually not mosquitoes. Wrong information. But you know, just malaria is like a huge problem. So
For sure.
Yeah, they do more harm than good. So it's like
they really do.
sometimes I
think
don't feel so bad.
Yeah.
I feel like they're
Killing
actually
one
the
off.
animal that kills like the most humans. So
I think I read that somewhere too. And
Yeah.
I get mad mosquito bites. Like they get crazy. Bay and Kat both saw
Oh my god,
actually
yes, I remember that.
NFT NYC.
I felt so bad.
I
She
got
had like a
literally
whole colony
mauled.
in her room.
Yeah, we'll insert a pic of my legs because there is like Sophie.
What is the leg and what is the mosquito bite? It's like,
Yeah, no, truly, they became one. Like it morphed. Metamorphosis of my legs.
So we had another like crystalism adjacent question, which is if you had to choose one like environment to exist in, whether it's like the mountains or the beach or the city or something, like which would you choose?
What's your biome?
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good question because like I'm definitely a beach girl. I do love my but like that's not my biome that I would like to be in forever. So I think my biome would definitely be forest and river.
Ooh,
Pretty.
that's
Like
a good.
That's hot.
Yeah, I love that.
But I'm also a beach girl. Like
I know. I'm always conflicted
No.
with that question.
I'm the same. I am a beach girl. I like need to live near the water, but my biome is totally mountains,
Ooh.
which is so opposite. Like I need warm weather.
Yeah, right. No, that's actually so
really hard to
interesting
find-
that you
it's
say
really
that.
hard to find a place on Earth where you have like both water, beach, biome, and then I think Vancouver is definitely quite cool for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also a bit cold, so.
Yeah, no, I can't do cold.
It's chilly.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it's
otherwise
funny
it's
that you
really
choose
hard.
mountains.
But it
I
really
know it
has-
makes no sense. But I feel like I was such a mountaineer in a past life. Like I love mountains. Like I love hiking.
Yeah.
Like
Fresh
I can see
air,
that.
beautiful
Yeah.
views. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
funny. I just remember like Bay would occasionally like text in the group chat being like, "It's so cold today," and it's like 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm like, "That's fine. It's pretty okay."
What is
stand
that
by it.
What is that in Celsius degrees? Let anyone know?
It's
Probably like
Like jacket weather.
yeah,
It's like 15 degrees.
15. Yeah, it's 15 and a half degrees Celsius, so it's like
That's what happens
That's
when you live
balmy.
in the south or like the
Tame.
west coast. Like
but Bay's like, "I'll survive in the mountains."
I'm cold now.
I cannot stop myself from enjoying the climate change summers. And I like feel so bad about it, but it's so great.
oh, like it's just
I
like
feel
getting warmer. Like I was
Especially, especially in our climates, it's just like we have like the best summers now, and like that was not a thing. Like, and I feel so conflicted about it because it's just so bad and terrible. I enjoy it.
I was thinking the same thing this morning. I was like, wow, it's actually been such a mild winter. Like I checked this morning and it was like 40 degrees, and I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. And then I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, I've been
Probably
doing
not
the same.
good in the long
Like the
run.
mild winters, I've been like, this is so nice and also so alarming, but
Yeah.
we'll just enjoy it.
Yeah.
No, I feel so conflicted about it. So,
Yeah. It's okay. There's nothing we can like explicitly do with the weather right now, so just take it in.
Yeah.
yeah, but always no, I definitely get you, but I really hope that that's a completely different conversation, so we're not going to dive
Right.
into it right now. But no, I'm definitely a big climate change advocate. So
Totally get that. Well, I feel like we can wrap things up. Before we do that, do you want to give us some details on like the mint
yes, so we will mint in 4 days, and we will be minting on OpenSea. So you would just basically have to go to the OpenSea homepage, and we will just be on the front page, and we will sell 6,765 pieces, unique pieces. So this is the 20th Fibonacci number, really tying back into, you know, the golden card, taking inspiration from nature, code, and generative art. And also, the price will be also inspired by a mathematical constant. So our price is 0.0577, which is the Eilers constant, which is a connection between the natural sequence and the natural algorithm. I hope I said that right. But it's definitely a really important, like, mathematical constant.
Oh my god, I love
Which
that.
kind of fit, like, the whole meta. We were really looking for one. I mean, the price discussion was definitely a hard one, not I think one of the hardest ones. Because we have like really, really high quality art, but we also really wanted to make it affordable to the community. So I think we struck like a really good deal, at that really good balance. And so fingers crossed.
Yes.
I'm gonna be I mean, I think we definitely have like so many spaces ideas. I definitely want like a JKB astro space.
Astro space, skincare space.
Oh my god, I know.
There's so many.
No, we're holding you to it.
Yeah, thank you for being our first guest on our pod.
I'm really honored to be the first guest, and I think what you guys doing for the space is amazing, and I was really honored, and I had like so much fun. Like,
And likewise.
Yeah.
Can't wait to do it again. And we're so excited for Chrysalism. I learned so much.
That means
I'm so excited. I want my larva, my crystal.
Yes, give it to us. Okay, well, thank you so much, and thanks everyone for listening. Bye.
Bye.